Hi, Sunday night, Diana the Happy Lawyer. Okay, I'm still looking for a theme song. If anybody is up for theme song writing, so send me your samples, and I'll see if I can pick a Diana the Happy Lawyer theme song. Well, welcome to Diana the Happy Lawyer Sunday night edition. I am at Linda Lotus's house. We just had an amazing kayak run, about an hour around Indian Island. It was really, really fun, and yeah, I'll tell you more about it in a second. So I hope everybody had a great week. I hope that everybody was trying to be more tolerant of other people, and that you even have to be tolerant of the intolerant people and intolerant situations. That's the toughest part, I think, for me when I'm dealing with people. It's one thing about being tolerant with other people, but then when they just continue to be difficult, you still have to tolerate that. You still have to tolerate people that don't agree with you, people that say things that are, not nice or stupid or whatever, or incidents that happen that just are completely, out of the realm of why is that person doing that or what's going on here. You even have to tolerate those things. Those are the toughest ones, the ones that, people driving with the left turn signal forever or cutting you off or anything like that. Those are the ones that you have to resist screaming and yelling and losing your patience. So being most tolerant for the intolerant is the key. And I hope that everybody was doing well with that last week. So this week, my lesson is called, What Would You Do If You Knew That Tomorrow Was Your Last Day on Earth? Who would you call? What would you do? Where would you go? And the reason why I thought about this week is because I have a colleague who was killed in a car accident last weekend, Labor Day weekend. And horrific. I mean, it was a shock to everyone. Young man, 36 years old, young children. There was a car accident, and him and two of his friends were killed, and one person survived. And, it was just such a shock because you never expect that to happen, He probably left work on Friday for the long Labor Day weekend. He went, upstate to Maine, visit his friends, and, just assuming that whatever work he left on his desk, he was going to finish when he got back on Tuesday. I'll finish that response to PC order on Tuesday. And now he's gone. And it sucks. It really hurts because he was a really nice guy, and it's shocking. And I'm sure it never occurred to him that could be his last day in the office. And who does it ever occur to? Nobody ever thinks that. Nobody ever walks out of the office and says, well, this might be my last day in the office. I hope they can figure it out without me. Because nobody ever wants to think about that kind of thing. But the truth is, that kind of thing happens all the time. There was a guy last week in the paper crushed in an elevator accident. Young, from what I can remember. I didn't watch, there was a video, apparently. People were watching it and saying how quick it was, like he never had a chance. And, he was just going out to lunch or just doing whatever. I mean, you never imagine that, forget about something tomorrow. Something could happen today. Something could happen within the hour. People have heart attacks and drop dead, and people, aneurysms, whatever. I've heard of lots of stories where people were there 1 minute and then the next minute they're not. And the question is, if you knew that was going to happen, what would you do? What would you think about? What would be important to you? I can tell you, for me, I would, I can't tell you what it would be for me, because it's really, really hard to even think about, because I don't know what I would do. I would probably go to the beach. I'd probably go to the beach and just sit down. I don't even know if I would call anybody or if I would say anything to anybody. I might just walk off into the sunset like an elephant. Oh, I guess that's a vivid image. Me as an elephant walking into the sunset. But here's the point: we don't know, and that's the point. You can't have that last 24 hours to figure out what you're going to do. So you have to make sure that you do it all the time, just in case. just in case it is tomorrow or just in case it is tonight. I mean, all of us drive around every day, walk up and down stairs, cross streets, do anything that you don't realize could be something that might be, dangerous, in normally safe, but dangerous. And you want to make sure that you have your business all settled. And by that, I mean, you want your heart to be settled. You want to know that there are people that you spoke to last, that you were nice to them. That's all. Or if you have people that you're fighting with, if there's people that you haven't spoken to or you're having a disagreement with, you know what? Call them up tonight and make amends. Or just send them a text that says, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said. And you know what? That might be enough. It might be enough to just let you off the hook, because it's something that you're carrying around inside you that is wasting energy for the glorious day that we have right now. Now, today, me and Linda, made a decision that we wanted to go kayaking. And she has her house here, beautiful home on the water, and no kayaks. And I've been looking at kayaks, all different places, eBay, Walmart, Craigslist. And I got here at about 3 o'clock, and she went on, Facebook Facebook marketplace. And sure enough, we found 3 kayaks within 3 miles of here, 3 to 5 miles, one direction to the other direction. And we were able to secure 3 really good shape kayaks, sit on top kayaks, for cheap, $100 a piece basically, and a paddle. And then we had 2 paddles actually, and we got it done. I love you, Linda. We got it done because we thought about it. And it's the kind of thing that you don't want to let that stuff that you really want to do go to the wayside. You want to get that stuff done now. Go out and go kayaking if that's what you want to do. Don't put it off. Don't put off getting the kayaks. I really wanted to just get them. That's kind of the way I felt when I woke up and I was thinking about this lesson. What would you do if tomorrow was your last day? I would want to know that Linda had kayaks. I would want to know that she could go kayaking with her son or her friends or nieces, nephews, whatever, that should be set up. And now I know that, not that, I expect to be here. We all expect to be here tomorrow, but you never know what's going to happen. So you can't leave stuff undone. Now, I just came back from the big trip, as you know, Australia, New Zealand, and Hawaii. And people are asking me about it. And it was amazing, definitely. And people are like, oh, Australia, it's on my bucket list. Now, I hate that term, bucket list, because it means literally, what do you want to do before you die? Now, if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, you wouldn't have time to go to Australia. You wouldn't have time. Even if you booked a flight tonight, by the time you got there tomorrow, it'd be done. So don't wait. Don't wait on those things. Don't use that term, bucket list. I hate that term. Say, this is on my live list. I want to do it while I'm alive. It's on my alive list. Let's change that bucket term. Forget that stupid bucket term. Do it on your alive list. These are things you want to do when you're alive. And there's lots of things that people want to do, and just do it. The Australia trip was not ridiculously hard, and it was not ridiculously expensive. Anybody can do it. When you think that there's stuff that you can't do, that you're going to put off, I won't go anywhere. Linda's going to lock me in the basement to make sure nothing happens to me. If you think there's stuff that's impossible to do, but you really want to do it, just start doing it. Just start taking steps towards it. Just do a little bit at a time, and then you'll get closer and closer to what your dreams are and what your passion is. If you're in a job that you hate, if the job that you hate is paying your bills, stay in the job that you hate, but start working on something else. Start doing something else. I saw a lady, I don't know where I saw it, and I think I might get it wrong, but I think she knitted a fence, something like that. Like, they showed her outside her house, and she literally knitted like a 6-foot fence, like 10 feet long or something very weird like that. She knitted a fence, and she started when she was old. She was 80, and I've had this comment several times. I mean, just because you're older, it does not mean that you can't start something new. Colonel Sanders' chicken guy in his 60s when he got the chicken going. Henry Ford in his 50s when he got the car running. So these are things that You don't. If you're older, that's not an excuse. It's not an excuse to say, "Oh, it's too late for me." You know when it's too late? When you're dead. That's when it's too late. But until that time, you can do it. You can do whatever you want. You can go get kayaks in one day. You can go get paints at the store. You can go to like CVS pharmacy and get some paints and a pad if you wanted to paint watercolors and sit in your backyard or paint a picture of your dog. I also showed a thing this week on my private page. Diana Jean Turco was a woman that made a cake that looked like a peacock, and all little cupcakes for the peacock tail, peacock feathers. If you want to bake, if that's something that you want to do, you can do that. You can do anything. That's for yourself. The things that you want to do for yourself. Just don't hold up. Just go ahead and do them. If you want to buy a house on the water, if you want to move to another place, if you want to, a lot of people dealt with the hurricane this week in Florida, and I know a couple of them, including my brother. He's like, I can't do it anymore. I got to get out of here. And he's talked about it every year that the hurricanes come. He's like, this is crazy. I can't stand it. I got to go. Because it's a lot of pressure. It's very difficult to wait for hurricanes and wonder if they're going to, hit you and you have to evacuate. He's got dogs. It's very stressful. So he, again, is thinking about maybe moving to Arizona, which would be beautiful. And I told him I would totally go visit him. And speaking of visiting, I think a lot of people saw I visited my friend John yesterday. He's 94. You know what? I took the time to just drive up. It was a great drive, 3 hours, drive up, visit with him for 4 or 5 hours and drive home because I wanted to do it. It was more important to me than doing laundry or, anything else that I needed to do. He became a priority. So think about what your priorities are. Think about what you want to know that you got done before you disappeared off the planet. Those are things you do for yourself, things you do for other people, things that and that means like time that you spend with other people. Like I spent time with John. If there's someone in your life that you haven't spoken to in a long time that you miss, just shoot them a text. Nowadays, you can just click on this direct messaging and you can go on the camera. And before you know it, you're looking at your phone, they're looking at their phone, and you're laying eyes on someone that you haven't seen in a while. I've been going on Facebook and I've been punching in the names of old friends that I haven't seen in a really long time. And some of them are on Facebook, and it's really amazing to send a friend request to somebody that you haven't seen in 20 years or 30 years and know that you just tried, even if you just did it. Or if there's someone in your past that you don't want to talk to, somebody who you're really mad at, somebody that you never want to see again because they hurt your feelings, somebody that was important to you, that did you wrong, let's just say. You don't have to call them up. You don't have to reach out to them. You don't have to say anything to them. But what you do have to do is say something to yourself. Say, I'm going to let it go. If you have to say, I forgive them for what they did, you can say that. Even you don't have to tell that other person you forgive them. The forgiveness is for you. It's for you to relieve yourself of carrying the burden and using the energy to be angry about something. So forgive people that have hurt you. And it doesn't mean you have to call them up. Also, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for being mad for 20 years. I mean, after you forgive somebody and say, oh, I forgive them, and then you're like, well, that was not so bad. I feel better. It's like, well, why was I carrying that around for all those years? Why was I so mad all the time about it? And they didn't even know I was mad about it. And I haven't even seen them. They're living another life in another state. They probably never even think about me. And I've been angry at them for all these years and thinking about it. And so forgive yourself for that. Because, we're just human. Nobody's perfect. Nobody does everything right. It's just, it's just going along, just doing the best you can. And pay attention. Pay attention to what it is that the best you can do in a day. And if it means dropping a grudge or forgiving an old hurt, letting it go, these are things that you can get out of your body now. And then if you knew you were going to die tomorrow, you wouldn't have to make a bunch of phone calls and say, oh, by the way, I just want you to know I forgive you, or I just want you to know I'm sorry that happened. I just want you to know that I love you. That's another thing. Call people and tell them you love them. Write it down, text it, whatever you have to do to reach out to people, because love is the most important thing. And when you share love with somebody and they feel that love, then they're going to share that love with somebody else. And even if you thought you were starting a chain reaction, you send love to somebody and then they send love to somebody else, and so on and so on and so on, as the commercial used to say. You're starting like a chain reaction of love. And if we all did that a little more, we might be able to share a little more love than a little more, non-love, I'll say. Because there's a lot of stress and a lot of hate going on. You have to hate the hate, and you have to spread love. And I know that's what I would want to do if I thought I was going to be gone tomorrow. I would want to make sure that people that I knew people that I love knew that I love them. And it's easy to do. And you know what? You don't have to wait till you think you're going to be gone tomorrow. And there are people, every day getting medical diagnoses or things that are happening that they don't know how much longer they're going to be around. So forgive the people, forgive yourself, spread love. Do something that you want to do. Don't put it off. Don't think that something is too big for you, like a trip to Australia or getting kayaks in one day. Just go do it. And the kayaks were, we spent $300 for 3 kayaks, basically. So it wasn't like a huge expense. It wasn't like spending $600-700 per kayak. They're used kayaks, but guess what? They were great. We paddled around and it was great fun. It was just amazing. The other thing that I heard somebody say the other day that they were starting a new job and that the boss was asking them to do something, and she said, well, I told him that I didn't want to do a specific thing because I know my limitations. And I thought it was an interesting thing to say, I know my limitations. And yeah, we all have limitations on what we can do. And it's good to know those limitations. But the important thing is to not stay within those limitations. You got to break out. We all have limits, but you know what? Don't limit yourself to your limitations. What that person was doing was saying, I'm going to let my boss know that I can do X, Y, Z, but not A, B, C, but not X, Y, Z. She was not planning on extending herself beyond her limitations. She was keeping herself in a box and not saying to the boss, you know what, that's beyond what I know, but let me learn about it. Let me research. Give me a book. Give me some training, and I'll try and do something that I haven't done before. So when you're talking about your limitations, we all have limitations, but you want to exceed your limitations. You want to go beyond what you can do. Stretch yourself. Stretch your limitations to see what you can do. Did I think I can get 3 kayaks in one day? Yeah, I did. It was easier than I thought. But there are limitations that I have, of course. Everybody puts all kinds of stuff that they want to do in one day, and we can't always get that stuff done. So do the best you can. Extend yourself and learn. Learn all the time. Keep learning. You don't want to be, looking at your last day tomorrow and saying, I wish I had, learned how to, bake bread from scratch, or, paint, or drive a car, or fly a plane, or, ride a jet ski, or walk on the beach. Even if it's just something that you want to do, that you know how to do, walking on the beach. Take a walk. Take a walk every day. Appreciate what's out there in nature. Just appreciation of life. I think sometimes, I don't think anybody's ever going to know that it's their last day tomorrow and they're going to say, let me get that last nasty tweet in, or let me just make sure I comment on somebody's Facebook page that I'm angry at them. That's not what you're going to be looking to do. You're going to be looking to appreciate life. You're going to be looking at the sun and the moon and the birds and the trees and things that are out there that are just beautiful in nature. Again, not the man-made stuff, the universe-made stuff. That's what you're going to want to feel more of. And they always say nobody on their deathbed ever said, I wish I worked more. So my point to you is to, and there's a country western song, I think, live like you're going to die tomorrow, or live like you're, Linda, do you know it? Live like this is your last day on earth, or I think it's live like you're dying. I think that's actually the song. Live like you're dying. And, when you do that, you have a new appreciation of everything. And none of us know. None of us know if it's going to be our last day. None of us know if it's going to be our last hour. So do everything the best that you can and do it with love. And appreciate all the things that are around you. When you're eating, enjoy the food that you're eating. Don't just gobble it down at dinner. If you're doing something like making iced tea, put your heart into it. Put love into it. I have a beautiful cup of iced tea today. Lemon, mango, meringue, mandarin, orange, honey, all kinds of, terrific. Just not, your basic black tea. Just making a cup of tea can be something special instead of just doing like your normal everyday thing. And you know what? When you start to appreciate all of these little tiny things, putting your heart into it just a little bit extra, and being nicer to other people, just generally speaking, when you're driving in traffic, let somebody cut in. If you're online in the grocery store and you have a lot of stuff and somebody behind you has just two things, let them go past. If somebody's, I always see people digging for change, and if I have change, they're trying to make change at the cash register, I'll be like, here's 15 cents or whatever. And it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good to be nice to people. And when you're nice to somebody else, even if that person isn't nice to you, somebody else is going to be nice to you. It's going to come back. And when you're sharing those kinds of feelings to other people, it's going to come back to you, because that's the magnetic energy that you're putting out. And I know it sounds kind of, corny and old-fashioned, but treat other people the way you would like to be treated. Would you like to be treated by some nasty comment on Facebook because somebody doesn't agree with your opinion? No. Everybody has a right to their opinion, and I honor that people have their opinion. Something the other day, I don't agree with your opinion, but I stand by your right to have a different opinion. We got a million things going on in the world, and all kinds of communication, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, just face-to-face people, newspapers, TV. Everybody's got a different opinion. And you know what? They're entitled. Everybody's entitled to their different opinion. And you're entitled to your opinion. And just treat people with respect. If you treat people with respect, they're going to treat you with respect. If you treat people nasty and then you're going to get unfriended. And how bad is that? If you don't like it, you can unfriend me. Wow. It's such a harsh thing to say. Who wants to be unfriended? It's a weird term that it's kind of new in the last decade. I'm going to unfriend you. It's the ultimate of insult to me, oh my God, unfriend me. Not even worthy of friendship. Don't get into a situation where people are feeling that way towards you, or you're feeling that way towards somebody else. And if there are people in your life that are dragging you down, like dead weight, cut them loose. Cut those people loose. You don't want to think tomorrow's your last day on earth and you've been dragging people around and taking care of their stuff and being, beholden to them, or worrying about them all the time when they're not worrying about you, or having to listen to their, those people that call you on the phone and all they want to do is talk about their problems, or all they want to do is talk about, how stressed out they are, how somebody did them wrong, or this didn't happen right, that didn't happen right. You know what? Time is too precious, and you don't have time to listen to the people like that. And even if it's a family member, it's hard to get rid of your family. It's hard to say, oh God, I can't pick up this phone. I don't want to hear her complaining again. You know what? Listen for 30 seconds or a minute and say, oh, you know what? Somebody's at the door, or I have to get the laundry, or, you don't have to lie. You don't have to say, make up stories. You just say that there's something else that you have to do. If you're at work and people are gossiping during lunch, pull out a book and read that book. Tell people you're trying to get into personal development. That's what this is all about, personal development. It's the idea that you can make yourself better and make your life better by focusing on you, focusing on things that are more important in your life, like reading about, something that you're interested in, taking a trip to Australia, or fishing, or painting, or baking, or anything. or even something funny, even reading a funny book, or even reading a novel, even reading, like the Heathcliff and Kathy on Wuthering Heights. I never read that book, but I imagine it's a love story with some waves crashing at the bottom of a hill. So I don't know, but somebody liked it. And I'm sure Heathcliff and Kathy liked it, and I assume that they lived happily ever after. So if that's what you're into, if you're into reading love stories, do that. Do something that makes you feel better, and cut yourself off from people that are going to drag you down and make you depressed and make you angry, so that when you hang up the phone from them, you're like, oh, sure, she feels better. She just unloaded on me, and now I'm all aggravated and stressed out because I had to listen to that. Don't take those calls. And if you have to take them because it's a family member or a friend that you can't avoid, cut it short. Give them a cutoff time, or do it for yourself. And they'll find somebody else to complain to. Don't worry about it. They'll figure it out on their own. If that's how they want to spend, their last days complaining about something, never knowing if it's going to be the last conversation that they have, that they're going to do it, by complaining. That's okay. That's okay for them. You can't help everybody. Somebody told me that. My friend Peter. He said, Diana, you're not going to be able to help everybody. You're not going to be able to change everybody's mind. And it was funny because I kind of knew that. I knew I wasn't going to be able to help everybody and change everybody's mind. But just when he said it kind of like let me off the hook a little bit, because I see a lot of people that I love and I care about, and they're still wallowing in stress that they've created, or that they think that they don't have any control over things in their life, and they're sad all the time, or depressed, or whatever they're doing. They just can't appreciate the beautiful sunrise, or just sitting and petting your dog, or having a nice meal, or a beautiful flower in the garden. So, I know there are a lot of people out there, and I can't help everybody. So I'm going to have to just, live with being able to hope to help anybody that's listening. One or two people. I'd be happy to help one or two people in my life, and feel good about that. I'm very happy in my life. I've made a real advancement in my personal development in the last year. And I think that if I knew I was going to die tomorrow, I would walk to the beach. I would just hang out. I might be by myself, because I don't think that there's anything that I have to make up for. There's no one I have to call. There's no one I have to apologize to. I don't feel like there's anyone I have to forgive, because I've been doing that for a year. I've been letting all of that stress and anger go. So, I'm not saying I want to die tomorrow, or I'm looking forward to it, or anything like that. All I'm saying is that I'm comfortable in my life where it is now, that I don't feel that I'm not where I want to be. And I am treating people the way I want to treat them, and people are treating me the way I like to be treated. And it takes work. It takes work to get to that point, because we're all so used to, all the angst and stress and millions of things that you have to do in a day. Drop that stuff. Drop the unnecessary stuff. Drop the petty stuff. Drop the stuff that doesn't do anything but absorb your energy, that could be used for other things. And I've been working on that for a year now, straight, since the Matrix. And it's definitely made a difference in my life. It's definitely made a difference to make me feel like I'm doing great. Like here I am in the middle of my life, and I feel great. And I would like you to feel that as well. And it's something that you can only do in your own brain. And as far as helping other people and curing all the ills of the world, you're not going to be able to do that. Everybody has to help themselves. Everybody has to come to their own realizations and their own reality. And if everybody helps themselves, then to get to a better place, then collectively the world will be a better place. So focus on yourself. Make sure that you're not leaving any open ends and stressful things that are going on now in your life. Take care of it, just in case, so that God forbid, you weren't here tomorrow, that you wouldn't have to worry about the last few things that you didn't do before you're gone. And and enjoy life. Enjoy life more. Definitely, we're going to have changing leaves now. It's going to be a beautiful season. Fall is amazing. Pumpkins, pumpkin spice, Dunkin' Donut coffee. There you go. That's something to look forward to. The pumpkin spice coffee is back at Dunkin' Donuts. Go out and get yourself a pumpkin spice coffee tomorrow. Treat yourself a little special, and it'll make you feel better, and then that will resonate to everybody around you, and they'll see it. They'll see it when you feel better, and then they'll feel better, and so on and so on and so on. So thank you for watching, and I want you to have a wonderful week. I want you to just appreciate life, because it is precious and fun. Precious and fun. So go ahead and have precious and fun times with everybody that you know, and let it resonate throughout the world, and we'll be better off all over. I love you all, and love is all you need. Thank you. Bye.